All right, this is a live pitch, and so I'm taking you on the journey here.
Hi, Wendy. Are you able to hear me?
Not yet. It's still me on the loading screen. Hi, Amanda. How are you? Did I say it right, or is it Mana?
Mana, yeah.
Mana. Okay.
Always second guess yourself. Not kidding.
Yeah, mine's a little too easy, right? I don't think the pronunciation of my name could ever get confused.
How was your Friday so far?
That's good. How's yours going?
It's like I thought January was the longest month, and then the shortest month. It still feels long. What are you gonna do?
How did that happen? How did I was saying the same thing to my wife. I said I don't know how it's still January. It felt like it was 2 months stacked on top of each other. Like it was just I was like, it's the 24th.
Yeah, somebody was saying, and as this quarter is gonna come to, I was like, oh my God, we're already 2 months done into 2025. I'm like, I can't look ahead that far.
Yeah. Now we got the shortened month here.
Yeah. So I'm trying to recall. So apologize because I filled out a couple of different forms online speaking to companies. So I just want to make sure. I'll give you a little bit of background on DECU, what we're looking to do, sort of like what I needed yesterday, and kind of long-term strategy on who we want to bring on as an agency partner. So I've been here almost 2 years, but it's about 8 months then, something like that. Prior to my arrival, several years back, we had an agency of record, and one of the things that we look for is for agencies that have direct experience with credit unions, because for compliance and all the other issues that there may be. A lot of us have digital marketing experience, but we have an on-site distance away from direct marketing on the digital side, because we just don't want any discrimination, redlining, or anything of marketing to be involved in that. But if we have someone who
I don't know what that is. You could exit that. It just follows me.
Someone who is directly working on that and monitor, and they have compliance, and we're vetted and all of that, then that helps. What we did with that agency partner a few years ago, it was like, okay, we were cutting costs, and a lot of agencies figured that, so like, but we are a not-for-profit credit union. Really, there are times where, like, let's say, the reason that partnership was like we were trying to start some here, decision was made because they had a monthly retainer. There's times where they go dark, and believe me, before you say, it's hard to ramp up and ramp down every time you have a period where you're not promoting. I understand it's a tactic that BBC has done. They have almost 3 billion assets. I don't, so I'm going to go with someone who's been around 100 years and has been doing it. I'm just going to, I'll do my job that way. But one of the things that we were looking at, and I apologize, I'm losing back to you right now. Besides the agency partnership, having for those like local agencies, but the flavor of it is what it is. We are open to any members, although we started with educators. We are open to any members who live, work, worship, or educated anywhere here in Texas. But I do have to keep it here in Texas. We've only chartered here, and I have to make sure that I only active to this area, market to this area. The products that I'm running, because we are where we were on goal, because the interest rates have been crazy as can be. Some of our goals already got qualified applicants. We're known for auto reply, and we have been doing some promotion last year. So the whole big picture was people who, just like with homes, people who were looking at rates in 2020, 2021, they weren't looking to refinance. They got a great rate, and so we would get maybe some people who were not so qualified. The only advantage we have over larger banks is that we do look in each app basis. We don't do automatic amounts. So some of them we were able to get, but the people who have the best, maybe an RFI shop rating for a lot of rates, we may not be able to beat what a long-term bank is doing for them.
Yeah.
But then there's that okay, that half median, like, where are their competitive rate? They do have certain complications. But, last year I would say we had, from the applications that we took, maybe almost 50% were denied. And why is it important? It's like, okay, you're getting these kind of leads. Again, we're a lean machine here where they don't understand. So they have to look at each app as it comes in. So we are taxing them with a bunch of apps that don't qualify. And so it's like it's a quick turnaround. So if they don't get it, we go through just a minute. So auto refi is something huge that ABC is known for. When I first accepted, I was at an Uber here. It was like moving from California, and I was taking somebody that didn't know that ABC was a bank, but they're like, oh, this is my car is finance. Who's finance? And I was like, everybody tells that. So then no for that, but it's like getting that target of what we need. Digital marketing, SEO tactics work best. We've done display, we've done other things, but so for our bank or our budgets, it's really that's a tactic that's worked. The other thing that's on our agenda, things that I need to do for the coming months, right now, the next one that'll come up is probably going to be for say April. Yeah, because March I think we are covered. April, we do something the equivalent of like a grand opening for a new financial center that's open. We're doing for that for another 2 branches that are going to be opening. But we also have what's called a community celebration out of our 20-some locations is that we will be reintroducing ourselves to the community. There's been some revitalization of the area and driving physical traffic. And I know it's a weird thing with like digital marketing, driving physical traffic. We do still do direct mail pieces and other things, but it's worked for some agencies that they told us it works, and I've worked with other agencies that I've done that for things like that. So for me, driving physical traffic and making people aware and that we're in the community and what we can offer as far as competitive rates and high interest rates on deposits, things like that. So that's kind of where we are looking. I don't know how if your other clients have Clutch, Meridian Link, Scimitar, our systems that kind of have our application things that talk to each other. Before you ask, we don't have a CRM system. Our sales funnel goes from where an application is created either frontline or online. We say it's online staffing at the financial centers are here. But when I'm tracking something, I have to set up a pixel tracking. They're the one who to show me, but otherwise, I may lose visibility once the application goes into our system as far as the campaign tracking. That's a little bit of a challenge. If you've heard it work successfully, I've seen it work successfully other places. I've had literally on top of everything and not lose tracking. Here, I may lose that track. So that's a little bit about the things that are forefront of what we need to do and running on questions yet.
Got it. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I heard a lot there that I think, could possibly be a good fit because, like you mentioned, the local aspect of like SEO. I totally agree. I mean, that's one of our specialties actually is our local marketing is just like that's where our focus is. Like for the rest of the year, we do national, of course, but we've really put a lot of resources and have seen great success, like with Corporate One, for instance. Our team has worked with, Chase. I worked with Wells Fargo. I used to work. So you mentioned auto refinance as well. I was just in that space as recent as 2 years ago. So it was called Max Cash. So we worked with like Title Max. I know it's kind of like a messy industry, when you're doing like title loans, but no, there was a lot of like we did refinancing. We worked with, I don't know if you know who Yandy is. They're like kind of like an independent loaner, but they did like debit cards, credit cards, like typically in the subprime space, but they also did, outside of that as well. So, the other thing I would mention too that, can be particularly attractive and just based on feedback is that we're partner led. So, like we support the youth, we love our youth. We want to see the youth develop. But the thing is when you're handling campaigns and things like that are very important, where, especially in this day and age, you mentioned interest rates are all over the place. You got to make sure that, every dollar is spent correctly. And so it's partner led. So the CEO, he's been around for 35 years. I have 17 years of experience. I'm the head of business development, but still, that's another thing that, they brought me on, is because I actually have technical knowledge of, I ran a paid search campaign as recently as 6 months ago, handling about $5,000 of spend and per day, right? And it was for, it was loans, auto refinance. That's what my experience was driving traffic for that. So on that level, it's like, I think that would be attractive in the sense of, like, it's more assuredness, right? The accountability aspect, knowing that you're working with the CEO on campaigns like that. But I would say the last piece of that I wanted to mention was smart geos. So that's a product that we developed originally for GSK, the pharmaceutical company. It was originally designed just for them, but then we applied it to like our finance clients, like Park Financial and Corporate One, and we were like, wow, this really works for driving foot traffic into the stores. And so, when we were looking at, like, it has SEO elements to it, but really what it is, it can go by the zip code. So, like, when you mention Texas and everything like that, like, we can zone in on your precise zip codes, and based on not just regular demographic type of question, but interest. Their interests of something. It's like, how prone are they to do something, like if they're like, let's say it's like not just profession, but like, what are they searching online? That could kind of give you indicators of, like, high intent audiences and things like that. So that was my original feedback. So, like, my question is to you, based on that, sticking to the Texas region and everything, I know that's important to you. I noticed that you have, like, an app and everything like that. So you guys are really far ahead as far as digital marketing, digital assets go, like, more so than, I'm sure you're aware of this, than your competitors. And I think you guys are, 83rd largest credit union. So my thing is, where are you now in terms of sophistication as far as, like, what you've done recently for local marketing type campaigns? Like, what channels have you used? You mentioned direct mail and SEO. Have you done programmatic? Like, where are you at as far as, like, the capabilities?
Yeah, so programmatic, we have an agency, like an agency partner, not one that does this type, but they try to do that. We don't TV, no. Radio we've done. And for deposit accounts, it seems to work.
Yeah.
In concert with digital, it also seems to work really well. But, so we've done pretty much, I would say, we just started doing streaming audio as, like, I think they were going to launch it a couple of times. Finally, we just done one that's going to launch, or that has launched recently, just last week. So, this of what I would like to have digitally for us to work on would be really SEO right now. And before I forget, so I know you said the banks that you work with, you do have credit union. Through that, what have you used that?
I'm sorry. Can you repeat that?
Credit union. Do you work with credit union clients now?
Yeah. So Corporate One is, like, our main one, and Park Financial, but they're not really a non-profit, so it's not really competing. Or would there be
that's fine.
Yeah, it's not a conflict of interest, but yeah, that's one of our credit unions is one of our specialties. And like, we have two major specialties. One of them is credit unions specifically, and then home services. So it's completely two different divisions, but like, our primary focus is credit unions. Yeah.
Yeah, and it won't be a conflict, and it's so weird in this community where it's they share resources, and it's like everybody uses everyone. So it's not only is it not a conflict, it's like their preference is that you do have credit usage, so that's fine. That's just what I wanted to make sure. But yeah, I would say, because I know some people saying in concert, Tim, we do this and that simultaneously, and it is still kept a little bit separate. Digital marketing, I have been focused. We've done display, banner ads, AdWords, sort of pre-roll videos, we've done that. We've done site retargeting, stuff like that with them. But yeah, it sort of encompasses everywhere on the journey, mobile and desktop. I've used pretty much mostly Google. The interesting thing is with Bing, I don't know if it's just because educators are a huge part of our community, or a lot of people here use whatever browser comes in their laptop. But I would say if we were to test that, that may work because the costs to run out on Bing may be less, but of course the conversion is just so much higher with Google rather than the other search engines. But that's something that is sort of like if somebody wants to test it, we could do that. But I know it's like an additional cost if you really do that. It's like sometimes not worth the additional cost to tack that on and do two different tactics simultaneously. But yeah, I would say primarily for digital marketing using our agency, it's even doing social, it's hit or miss. Again, it could be that the tactics they run, maybe not, but I don't know. That's the thing where I have to tell people that they run the campaigns for us. We do have Google Analytics set up. I can track it. We do pixel tracking, event tracking. But they run it, so they don't use our system and put campaigns. So I was like, why would you bring that in house? I'm like, I know, I didn't know. But right now it's not. So they run campaigns and then I have live dashboards or have reports that they send me to track it.
Yep.
So that's how we run it.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, you mentioned also like the setup as far as like retainers. Like we don't do that. We have customized type pricing. So that's something that's like if it doesn't work, because we know that it's every situation is different. Like what you told me is completely different from like what our clients would want to do, right? Like some of them are more focused on, hey, we need to drive new account signups, and that's where they're at. Some's like we just want brand awareness because we're opening up new locations and we need we need people to just know that we exist in their neighborhood. So those pricing, you can't really have like a blanket pricing structure there because it's not how it really works as far as like a dynamic digital marketing campaign, right? So no worries about a retainer getting locked into those things. They're just not going to work. Like we don't mess around with that. But as far as analytics and everything like that, I'd say that's like really one of our strong points is like our reporting and everything. It's just like you would have that as well, and can help make informed decisions on what's working, what's not. Like really quickly make those kind of changes. So I don't know how often you're touching base with them, but we have a policy here. It's a 3-hour response time or less. So what that does is you're not waiting a week to get a change implemented or a question answered. It's like very communicative. So you send something, we want to go less than 3 hours. We want to impress, our clients, of course. But sometimes there's meetings back to back, but we aim for 3 hours or less. So that might be something that might help. It's like, well, hey, we need to do this and actually switch this up. We have that kind of speed that is really necessary, especially with the credit union space, right? So when I was what I also hear there is, as far as like, how you're doing it now with your leads and everything like that. So it's outsourced or it's outside of your internal location. Like it's not with you in, I guess in-house, right? So when that happens, I mean, do you find right now it's kind of tough to like get the data you need quickly, or is it just like one of those things where you're like, I kind of like just want to have it so that we're
I mean, to me, it's like a trust but verify. It's easier for me for auditing to say like, okay, I see it was done. I mean, there's been very few times where a mistake was made and we caught it in time, but also that also exposes me to like what if there's an error. And I mean, to errors, I mean, I get it. There's some things that are done, but it's like if something doesn't perform well, and I'm taking your word for we implemented exactly as it should be, it was set up, we double checked, so I have to take that word. But if I were to see it in my own environment and say, okay, so where was it? And I don't want to say it's like a set it and forget it. I don't know. I mean, I've had people with extremes that they look at something daily and, sometimes they don't overcorrect because it's, you want to let it saturate a little bit. But I've had people where, I mean, I worked on the agency side too, where it's like, you have so many, clients that there isn't enough time to give all of your focus and attention to everything. And, we're just on a big strategy. If I were to make an adjustment, it's like, yes, there's not always time for that. But sometimes if I saw that a campaign was really underperforming, sometimes I don't see it until the very end and say that, we met the requirements. And I used to have a boss who said this to me, like, well, we would need something, a threshold needed, for like, let's say, a your impression calendar. And she's like, are we proud of that? Like, it's like, we just barely met the requirements, that we're, no high fives needed. Like, so I just want to make sure that, are we doing something to the fullest? And if we miss one of our goals or tactics, I want to be able to know enough from seeing it to show, like, there was some campaign we just did where there was a community celebration where, for AutoRefi, this agency that I'm working with right now, we're not on a contract or anything with them, we just get them, it's ad hoc, which is, you get what you pay for, because that is the one thing that's convenient, is that I don't have to have the minimum campaign threshold. I give them enough notice, they send me a proposal, and I'll accept the rejection. But I couldn't see that there was engagement that I expected for something, and they were showing me tactics. These are lines that we wanted, but I just don't know why it was not the conversion that I was looking at on the engagement.
Yeah.
So it just was to the point where, and it is a long process to bring on another partner, but this is something that especially for it to be vetted, and because there's, again, all the regulatory has to go along with it, and how we market too. So that's something that I want to make sure I have enough trust in the partner that we have that can show success. So normally what I've been asking is if you can send, and if you have to ask the credit union or whatever, just let me know what tactics to use, what proposals you would typically have for the things that we talked about, like a community celebration. I can tell you, this is, if you go on our website, you'll be able to see the locations of and the one that the community that's next on our list. One might take precedent over another. There's two that are coming up. One is North Frisco. You'll say coming soon. President's in North Frisco, and
love it.
I'm supposed to be community that's much recommended. President's and North Frisco are ones that we will have to drive physical traffic, and I have the demographics of that area. Sometimes I'll have something that'll give me a little bit more information, but normally we're just staying in a radius, depending on where the population is, usually 3 mile, at those 5 mile radius where we want to target. And I don't know if there's like an IP, I know there's so much privacy now we can't see, but if we can, however we can verify to target in around that area to let them know it's a pretty celebration, so just to get people in there and get them physically to the brand. So if there are some things that you will put together, here's how you drove traffic to, either for a branded new celebration or something, or it was just automatically driving physical traffic to a financial center, and AutoRefi what you would propose to put together as a proposal. Normally I would run them at least 2 to 3 months, and again, the budgets have all varied. Depending on how much we need to drive in applications, but just tell me what your ranges are.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna suggest, is running it back to my team just based on what you've told me, and then just come up with something that I think would match best. And then ultimately, you can look at it and then say, hey, well, this might work, and then we can, if need be, it probably would, hop on a call just to discuss. You can meet the team. And even going back, that's why I asked that question about the data, is about the performance aspect of things, is knowing how important that is. That's what we don't want to happen, is get to the end and you're just scraping by, or just meeting a threshold. That's why we put those things in place to make sure that, if there's something that is underperformed, that we're making those adjustments as quickly as possible, right? We don't want to set it and forget it. I mean, that's everybody on our roster Nobody has less than 15 years of experience on the team. Not a single person our agency. So I mean, when we are in a like a paid search campaign, like the other thing about it is you mentioned the clients. Well, we have finite clients, so meaning we prefer to overstaff your account than under. Because it can get really bad when you're juggling all these things and it's just like you're spread thin. You can't get results that way. And the way our business works is like it's similar to credit unions. It's our reputation, right? Like if we're not in business if we're not doing repeatedly good work. There's 14,000 agencies. You don't have a shortage of who to pick, but every happy client counts. So like that's I think another added benefit is that we do have limited seats that we do on purpose to scale. We are growing. We're growing really fast, but we also manage that growth. So we're not going to sacrifice the long term, just to bring on clients. Because then, in 6 months, if everybody hates us, it's not going to work. So we do have a process there, like where the next step is like we have very I think my note taker was taking some good notes here, but I pretty much have a really good sense of, because thank you for sharing the detail. I have a really good sense of what you're looking to do, and we'll put together some case studies and things like that we've done, but also like recommendations based on what you said of like an idea of how it could work, right? And the last thing I want to mention too about because you mentioned ramp time. That's another added quality I think is a benefit of us is that we have a very quick ramp time, and that doesn't mean that we just go, okay, let's go, and we're just throwing it in. There is a lot of thought and tact that goes into it, but I think a big problem with agencies a lot of the time is that everything takes so long. It doesn't have to. It's like I think speed is so important. Like we're in a really fast world. There's AI. There's people that are aggressively spending. You can't be slow especially in this day and age. So, we have very quick ramp times that could range anywhere from like 4 business days, 5 to, maybe the max is like 2 weeks. But at that point, there's execution going on. We're not waiting a month and doing like these 6-week delays and stuff like that. You mentioned campaigns running 2 months at a time. Like we understand that. We have credit. We know how the credit union space works, so we know that there's seasonality. There's new promotions that come about. You might get something from the CEO that says, "Hey, we're actually doing this," and and you need to quickly pivot. We have the resources to do all that. So I think, I just figured I'd mention that to kind of, respond to some of the challenges you're going through. But we'll make sure that's highlighted in our analysis, and then. Maybe like next week, I don't know if you have some time. It shouldn't take too long because we've had a discussion, but really just be for you, just kind of presenting to you, and then you can ask our CEO questions directly. I mean, you would be working with him. So he's worked just for context. He's worked for American like American Eagle, Victoria's Secret, Bed Bath and Beyond. So he's as VP. So he's had tons of experience just managing very complex and not so complex, but really our ethos is handling complex problems in complex industries. So like he's dealt with pretty much everything, and his space particularly is the finance portion of things. So I think you guys just talking, like he'll have his perspective as well, and I think it'll be very useful. So if you have some time next week that you can carve out, I can get his schedule, and then we can just give us a few days to put that together and let us collaborate on it, get something good for you. I think we can make a very strong case here. I think a lot of what you said there, ultimately you determine if there's the fit, but I think based on like a lot of what you said, it's like we deal with this, and these are the exact challenges that we solve. So I think there's a strong case.
I'm out Monday and Tuesday. My Wednesday is filling up fast. Thursday, I have a couple of spots, either 9 in the morning, 12 in the afternoon, or Friday is more open now, next Friday. So let me know whenever, and if you have other stuff to send me in the interim, I'll review that.
Yeah.
And put something on the calendar to circle back.
Yeah, I'll have some materials I can send in the meantime. I think that's actually perfect. That would give us plenty of time to put together something well thought out. So I'll check with Jim on his timing and make sure he's available for that. But I would say at this time, looking at his schedule now, maybe Thursday will look good. But I'll double check with him. And if I don't know, should I message you? And then, did you prefer to send the calendar invite this way, or is it more, or like, does it matter, or could I send you one?
You could send it to me. Just let me know. Like I said, right now I see Wednesday, depending on how long, because I have a lot booked on. The next time I think Wednesday would be late afternoon, which would be after 3:30, my time, Central Time. Thursday I have 12 to 1 is wide open. Actually, I could even do 12 to 2, and I'll just move another meeting. That one's not as urgent. Friday, I'm open right now. Next Friday, the 7th, I'm open. Because I'm already going to do a lot of meetings on Friday, so that one's open for me right now. So let me know whatever time slot works, and then I'll accept it.
Awesome. We'll definitely do that. And just wanted to add, just Frisco, I don't know if you're out there or what that. Oh, I love that area, by the way. Just had to say that. I've been out there quite a few times.
We have a branch inside of HEB in Frisco, and we're opening another branch in North Frisco. And timing, I think, is going to be sometime. I would say, is it March? End of March, April-ish. When that'll be open to the public. But
yeah, that's awesome. I'm in Scottsdale, Arizona right now, but we're moving to Bentonville, Arkansas, pretty quick. But Frisco was our second option. If it doesn't work out.
It's beautiful, right? I worked for a week years and years ago, and we had properties there, and my goodness, has it gone up in value. Like, I was talking to a vendor partner of ours, and she moved there from California, and she sold her property for a pretty penny, but she's like, it's getting up. Like Scottsdale, Flagstaff, it's the other place. Arizona's just,
It's massive. Tucson. Yeah, I live.
I love
Yeah.